And I'm going to select the cell directly underneath %complete, and I'm going to put in a brand new control. I'm going to go to my design tasks, I'm going to go to my controls, and I could, if I wanted to, I could simply put in a text box, and I can make it read only, and I can make it do the math that I want to take place for this table. But if I do that, if I put a text box on this form, it's going to create a brand new data element. A data element I do not want and I do not need. So how can I get around this? The way you get around this is by scrolling down even farther, and in your advanced area you have what's called an expression box. And an expression box does not get added to your data structure. It just performs some type of an expression. Remember when I said that if you see a fx, that means it's a function? That's exactly what we want to take place. We want this to execute some function for us. So I'm going to select the expression box. And then what happens is it says insert an expression box, and it says enter an XPath expression. This is when most beginning users start to hyperventilate. Don't worry, because what you have is a button over here on the right hand side which is edit formula, and we've already seen this. So we click on this and it says what's the formula that we want? So we're going to insert a function. And fortunately the function that we want to use is average. Since it's alphabetical order, it's always going to be at the top, but if we didn't see this, we could simply go to the math section and average would also be at the top. But average is indeed the function that we want. So I'm going to click OK. InfoPath says, oh, well, if you're going to use the average function, it puts parentheses around there, and then underline it says double click to insert a field. So all I need to do is double click right here, and it's going to show me all of the different fields that I have in my data structure. So which field do I want to perform this math on? So it's underneath my tasks, it's within my task, and it's my task %complete. That is the field I want to do this math on. So now I can say OK. And it says I'm going to average the task %complete. I'll click OK. And now it adds a brand new control, a brand new expression control down here. Now when I right click on it, it doesn't give me as much detail. It doesn't give me as much functionality. I can't do data validation or anything because it's simply performing some mathematics for me. It's performing a function. I want my expression box properties, and it tells me what my data source is. Again, don't worry about this. We've already done this by using our function by the edit formula. And it says format as text. I would rather have it formatted as a decimal. Again, format as a percentage. And then underneath display, I want it to be right justified. So a lot of these properties that are inside of this particular control are exactly the same that we've already seen for all of our text boxes. They are slightly different, but if we want to change the alignment, it's going to be underneath the display tab. We already know that. So I'm going to click OK. And now my control looks, it's right justified. Let's see if the math does hold true. I'm going to go into my preview. I'm going to call this task 1. Manager is Joe. I can put in a due date of the 23rd, and it's 34% completed. I can insert an item. Task 2. Sam. Let's do the 30th. And it's 45. So that comes out to 39.5. Now I don't know if you noticed that it said 17% before that. The reason for this was because when I added a brand new row in there, it defaulted the %complete to be 0, and so 34 and 0 averaged out came out to like 17. But we can see that my math does hold true. It is correct. And a quick way, make both of them 50, and my average should be 50, and it is. So in this lesson, we used two brand new controls. We used our repeating table, and we now know how to use our repeating table, and we know that by default, when you add a repeating table, it adjusts our data structure quite drastically. It also puts a header and your detail in there, but it doesn't give you your footer, so it doesn't know that you might want to have any summary type functions that you want in there. And if you do want to perform any math and you don't want that math to be included in your data structure, you're going to use your expression, that expression box, and you'll find that in the advanced controls. Always remember that when we're working with our form and we're designing our form, everything you do affects our data source. Always keep an eye on that. So we now have a pretty nice looking form. We have our task items, and we're going to start working with even more controls, and then you'll see how they interact as well. So I hope you enjoy this. If this was a little fast, definitely go through this exercise again. This is where we start working with some of the more advanced controls, and the way it affects our data structure, it can be a little confusing the first time you see it. Once you get the hang of it, you will have no problem from that point on.